2012 was a remarkable year for the Utah economy. We actually have regained all of the jobs we lost in the Great Recession, and a lot of important development projects took root. I-15 Core, City Creek Center, Regional Rail, tracks, Front Runner, some big private sector developments, Adobe, even the National Security Administration's data center, an Oracle data center, a Twitter data center. So we've had our fair share of development in 2012, which of course will translate into something good in 2013 as well. I expect 2013 to look a lot like 2012.
In Utah, provided the worst case scenarios don't come to fruition, 2013 will be a good year. But there are risks to that outlook. So, nationally, we're expecting continued slow growth. A lot of the same problems continue, a lot of the same conditions. In Utah, things were pretty good in 2012. Job growth was approaching its traditional averages. We saw improvements in housing, good news in the tech sector, a lot of good things happening in the state. We expect those things to continue, provided policymakers act responsibly in Washington.
We live in a global economy, an economy right now that has Asia slowing down, Europe in recession. The safe harbor for investment and for economic activity is the United States of America, notwithstanding our paralysis in Washington, D.C. If Washington is able to show the economic leadership, which they should and can, then I'm very optimistic that Utah will leapfrog in 2013. We have all the right fundamentals to do that. We're currently the 5th fastest growing job state. The 4 that are ahead of us, 3 of them are significant energy states. So arguably we're number 1 or number 2 in terms of a diverse economy that's growing and thriving in today's world.
Yeah, well, we're dealing with some really big issues, and so you hear a lot being talked about: tax reform, entitlement reform. Those are big issues that can take a lot of time to sort through. So what I'm looking for is a framework to be set up to continue working through those that will allow us to avert the worst case scenario, which is the fiscal cliff. So that may be before or a little after January 1st, but no later than February, when we run up against the debt ceiling.
I was in Washington last week. Felt like I got a taste of what's going on. There's clearly a change afoot. We have a re-elected administration, a re-elected House, and a re-elected Senate. We didn't change much, but I think through the course of a national election, I think some lessons were learned. I'm actually optimistic that both parties will work together to create a framework that will take care of our spending problem. I also believe that they will do the right thing and extend the Bush tax cuts for everybody except the most fortunate, affluent in our country. And in doing so, create a way to get our debt to GDP ratio under control. So my outlook for 2013 is Utah's going to be among the best performing economies in the country, and will be helped by actually some economic leadership coming out of Washington.
One reason you should be optimistic in 2013 is you're in Utah. Of all the places to be, the United States is frequently referred to as a safe harbor globally, and in the report we write, if the United States is a safe harbor, Utah is probably the preferred dock.